Hi, this is Tasha. Let's talk about census. While in the midst of COVID-19, we wanted to give you a friendly reminder that you're not late in participating in the 2020 decennial census. If you have not done so already, if you were an early bird and completed your part, thank you. And now for the rest of us, let's do our part so that we are counted and included in the data. This census will gather the most complete picture of America since 2010. The consequences of an unfair census are immense. We are hoping to bring awareness and an update to you on the census. Take it away, Alyssa.
Hi everyone. So what is the census? The census is a head count of every person living in the United States, as well as the District of Columbia and 5 other territories. It makes sure that the government represents the people, and the U.S. Constitution requires a population count every 10 years. Since 1790, the number of seats each state receives in the U.S. House of Representatives has been determined by this census and has been something we value in our democracy to determine representation. The responses in this helps determine the future of the communities, just like ours in Long Beach. The census collects data and many attributes on the population. They may ask you questions regarding your personal information, but they are always kept confidential. So just remember that. Here's Tasha to explain why the census is important.
Why is census important? With COVID-19, the upcoming 2020 presidential election, and just maintaining general sanity, it's likely that you haven't paid quite enough attention to something that's pretty important, the 2020 census. As Alyssa mentioned, admittedly, the idea of counting the U.S. population doesn't sound like the most exciting thing, but rest assured, data from the census can greatly affect your day-to-day life as it directly dictates federal spending. The 2020 census is the most important count of the decade. Do you know filling out the census is a legal requirement? It's 100% mandatory for anyone living in the United States. It's your civic duty, along with voting, jury duty, or even paying taxes. Back to why the census is important. It contributes to a better future in our community, determines how many seats are given to each state in the House of Representatives, provides information for our local governments to plan for changes in our community. It's used to enforce civil and human rights laws. Lastly, the census data helps guide us how the government allocates money to extremely important resources and vital programs such as affordable housing, clinics, schools, fire stations, families in need, hospitals, transportation, Medi-Cal, Medicare, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, and local businesses as well as community-based services that rely on our responses from the census. So while you have a little extra time on your hands, now is the time to do your part in filling out the 2020 census. Get the word out, encourage others to do the same, and help our community. Get ready to mark your calendar. Evelyn is going to tell you the date on when you need to send your census in before it's too late.
As previously mentioned, be sure to complete and submit your census as soon as possible. The deadline is September 30th for you guys to complete and turn in.
There are 3 different ways one can complete the census. The first way is by use of the internet. The second way is by a phone call. And the third is by mail. For the first option, which requires the internet, please go to my2020census.gov. Once you start filling the census, you must complete it. Don't fret, it only takes 10 minutes to complete and has easy to follow instructions. The second option is via phone. You can call 844-330-2020 and answer the questionnaire over the phone. Representatives are available 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. If the lines are busy, you can also request a callback. Just make sure you request a day, a time, and give them the appropriate callback number. The final option is by mail. In mid-April, the Census Bureau began to mail paper questionnaires to homes that have not yet responded to the online or by phone census. If you have this form, feel free to fill it in. Just make sure to use blue or black ink. The questionnaire should have also had a return envelope provided. If you lost your return envelope, please mail the completed questionnaire to the U.S. Census Bureau National Processing Center, 1201 East 10th Street, Jeffersonville, Indiana, 47